We in the building with a very special guest, all the way from the Northeast, New York, New York, New York, New York, Long Island in the building.
Strong Island.
Miss Connie Zee, what's going on?
I'm so happy to be here.
Wow, this is like a crazy day because
Yes.
you're like breaking barriers, with us. Like this is the first time we've had someone like you to grace our stage. So
I'm so honored.
Thank
to be
you.
The first.
Yes, thank you for taking the time and just for even being interested in working with us and giving us a snapshot into your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so as you all know, we are Digital Dance Culture TV, and we're here with Connie Zee. And we're going to start from the beginning, Connie. So
Let's do it.
let's just jump right in. You say you're from like Long Island, New York. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about like just growing up, like what was really good in the hood? What was it like? What was your family situation?
Okay, well,
Walk us through.
Grew up in Roosevelt, Long Island. It's a small town, and my family life is pretty cool. Like my mom was a nurse. My dad, he was a street pharmacist. But, I learned I got my hustle from both sides. My mom, my dad. I lived in a pretty middle-aged family. We weren't poor, we weren't rich, but we lived pretty good, pretty close-knit family. Growing up in Roosevelt.
Brothers, sisters?
Yes, I have, on my mother's side, I'm the oldest, and I have my younger brother, he's 18, and then on my father's side, I'm the oldest of 12 siblings.
Oh man, 12.
12,
Y'all
yes.
doing that's like 2 generations ago style.
My
right
dad
there.
was getting it in.
Hey.
Yeah, so.
Hustle hard. Huh?
Hustle hard.
Okay, so do you still have a relationship with your parents? Or
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm very close to my mother, and I'm close to my dad. Growing up, my mom pretty much raised me for the most part. My dad was in and out, but as I got older, we formed a much better relationship now, and I love my dad.
Okay. Are you daddy's girl?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm a daddy's girl.
All right, well, so it sounds good, but you went through some challenges, obviously. We spoke before we started here, and you let me know that you kind of moved out, but it wasn't you didn't move out.
I didn't move out. I got the boot.
You got the boot. So what was going on? Like, what was you doing?
Okay,
Why,
I had going through high school was very difficult for me. I got jumped in high school. I was always skipping school, but it had a lot to do with just my mom remarried, and I didn't get along with my stepfather. Although I love him, he's been a great father figure to me growing up, and just that I was a rebellious teenager, sneaking out, going to hang out with boys, and not listening to my mom, not coming home for curfew, and just a typical young teenager trying to find her way.
Okay. So your mom got fed up.
Yeah, my mom got fed up. She got fed up with my attitude. Even though I get my attitude from her.
Okay.
I love you, Mom.
Okay.
But,
Fruit don't fall far from the
yeah, it
tree.
doesn't fall too far from the tree. But, yeah, so when I turned 18, it was, either you go to school or you get out. And I, at the time, was like, I didn't want to go to school. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to go to college. I didn't know if I wanted to have my own business. I just was still figuring out my life.
Right.
So, yeah, my parents kicked me out. So I moved to Georgia to stay with some family, my dad's family. And, you know, I didn't really have a very close relationship with my siblings growing up because I lived in New York and they lived, and, you know, they have different mom and everything like that. So it was kind of difficult just coming into the situation because they're like, we don't really...
I imagine you probably had like some culture shock, number one.
Oh, yeah.
Because you was like still young, right?
Still young.
So... You went from New York to Atlanta. Well, Atlanta?
Stone Mountain, yeah.
Stone Mountain, okay.
Yeah,
well,
Stone Mountain.
Consider that. If you're from here, we still say Atlanta.
It's Atlanta.
You know. Okay, so you went to the east side.
Yeah, I went to the east side.
East side.
I stayed over there and, you know, with my family. And I actually... I don't know. Even when I was in high school, I was a cheerleader. I did dance and different stuff, but I was always intrigued by strippers. Like,
okay, so you just spilled the beans. You didn't tell anybody why you was the number one, person to be here like yourself. But now you just spilled the beans. All right, so now that you said that,
yes.
You are an exotic
dancer. I am an exotic dancer.
Yes, and so what is that like? I mean, tell us about how you first got started.
Okay. Well, when I first got started, a high school friend and I were like talking about it, like, what do you think about dancing? And she's like, I think it's fun. Like, I think it might be fun. We could make a lot of money. Let's see what it's about. But then, I moved to the South, of course, and then, my friends back home they started already. They started before me. So they're like, what are you doing? Get your ass back up here. Right. We're making da-da-da-da-da. You need to come. So I'm just like...
How much money did they tell you they was making?
On average, at the time, they were making a good between $2,500 and $5,000 a night.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a night. You know what?
For a night.
A lot of people make that. A lot of people don't make that in a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so these girls are 19, 20.
19, 20.
Making $2,500.
Making $2,500 to $5,000 a night. Yes.
Okay. All right, so I know they called you.
Yeah.
And they was like, yo, get up here.
Get up here.
All right, so did you get up there?
I did. I did. And I had my cousin drop me off at the airport. She dropped me off at the airport. I had all my bags with me. And I tried to get on a standby flight. And they were like, you can't take all that stuff with you. So then my cousin, she drove really far, so she didn't want to come back and pick me up. But my brother had to come back and get me. So it just so happened that a friend of mine was driving back to New York. So I was able to catch a ride with her back home. So I went back home and I called my mom, like, Mom, please, I want to come back home. I promise I'll be good. And she's like...
That was a setup.
It was a setup.
No, so you knew good and well.
I knew good and well I was about to get into some trouble. I was about to get into some trouble. So I was like, my mom's like, all right, I'll give you another shot. You come back home.
Mom always take you back.
Yeah, she always take me back. You come back home and you do right, cool. So I came back home and, Mom was still strict about the rules and you can't be coming in all times of night. I'm not having this. I'm not having that. So then I say not even a month later, I was out of the house again. And that's when my friend, rest in peace to her, she introduced me to someone that was renting a room at the time. So I rented a room in a basement and I started dancing. Just like that.
Okay, so let's look through this. Okay, so your friends then called you up. They said get up here. You hitched a ride.
Moved
in with your mom. Told her it was all peace. and you had plans, right?
Major plans.
And then you rented a room in the basement.
Yep, I rented a room in a basement for $300 a month.
So, but up to this point, okay, you say you cheerleaded in high school.
Yeah, I
So you already had rhythm and could dance, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it wasn't that hard for you to transition?
Oh, no. It wasn't. But I would say, it was a little different because it was more, being a dancer was more sensual. And I wasn't really there yet because I was still developing and growing and maturing. So my first night, I looked a hot mess. I'm not going to lie. I looked a hot mess, and literally my first night, I probably made $100. But I was so happy that I made that $100.
Right.
Because I'm like, look how easy it was to make that $100.
Right.
So from there, that was the first club I ever worked at was in Long Island. It was a small club. It was cool, and I got my feet wet there. And then from there, they took me to where it all went down. Where it all went down.
Okay, we still in New York though?
Yes, we're still in New York.
Okay, so, but I have a question because your friends was telling you, they was talking big.
Big.
They said 25 to 5,000.
25.
So, did you ever get to that point, like, in that time?
No, not right away, because, I still had to invest in myself. Right. I still had to learn the ropes. Right. And then I still had to get over that nervousness. I was very scared. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't, so I had to get over that. And then eventually it got to that. Yeah. But I would say in the beginning, the most I probably made in a night was like $1,500. Yeah.
Okay.
I made $1,500.
Better than most still.
Yeah.
Yeah, better than most.
I mean, and eventually the money just kept rolling in.
Okay, but you said it was some hiccups along the way.
Oh yeah, it was some hiccups along the way. So once I got to this new club in Queens, High Heels pretty much molded me into, the dancer that I am today. So High Heels was a mixed club. We had all different women, all different races. It was ran by Russians.
Okay, sounds like some real mafia.
Yeah, they were. I really feel like they were like the Russian mafia. Yeah. Because they would have girls come in from Russia. They would fly them in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the girls from Russia, they ain't no joke.
Yeah.
They serious in the game.
But you know what? That's interesting because when I was in Japan and I was playing basketball, sometimes I would go to the club, like in Tokyo, and it would be Eastern European, like Russian or Romanian or something like that. Yeah. And I could always tell, like, okay, they about this work right here.
Oh yeah.
These girls.
They're serious.
Yeah, you might be a spy or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they don't play around. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know that the club that I was in, High Heels, was a hot spot, so to speak. Okay. And they were under surveillance. So one day I come to work. And everything's cool. Everybody's making money. It's going good. And then
it always be those days.
It's always be those days. But everything.
Like, this is a great day.
It was great. I made a lot of money that day. Everything was cool. We were all in the dressing room, and then the next thing you know, the music just stops, and it's just like a dead silence. And we're just in the back, like, okay, maybe the DJ's like taking a break or something. We don't know what's going on. And then the whole SWAT team comes in. Yeah. The whole SWAT team comes in and everybody gets arrested.
They just arrested everybody?
They arrested everybody.
That was a move.
That was a move.
They just sat everybody
down one by one. Clink, clink.
That was it.
That was it. No questions asked. Y'all going to jail. Ain't matter what you said. We going to jail.
Dang. Okay, so they arrested everybody.
They got arrested. I got arrested. The club owner got arrested. Everybody got arrested that night.
So they took you out like in a car or like a wagon?
Yeah, a paddy wagon.
Paddy wagon.
We were in the
You took the paddy wagon ride.
We were in the paddy wagon. Yes, we were in the paddy wagon.
Okay. So who came and got you out?
Actually, I spent that whole weekend in jail. I was in jail for the whole weekend. In Queens, Central Bookings in Queens, New York. And then I had to wait because we got arrested over the weekend, so you had to wait till Monday to see the judge. And then, I didn't have a criminal record and I was a minor, so they just released me.
Okay.
But I had to come back to court, of course.
Right.
But yeah, but I got released, and boy, I tell you, I don't wish jail on anybody.
That's not where you
And I wasn't even in like the real jail. I was just in like the holding cell, and it was the worst experience of my life.
You saw some crazies in there.
Did I? But you know what? I was in an adolescent cell.
Oh, okay.
So honestly, it wasn't too bad, and the girls that were in there with me, they were pretty cool. They were pretty cool.
It's an experience. I mean, first time you go to jail, it's an eye opener. You know what I mean?
Yes. The food was disgusting. It was freezing cold. The COs were nasty and rude. It was just terrible.
They treat you like a criminal?
They treat me like straight up like I murdered somebody.
Yeah, like you just the worst piece of shit.
Like trash.
Yeah, like
straight like garbage.
It's amazing. I couldn't do that.
But yeah, I got out, and luckily I had money on me to get on the train. I got on the Long Island Railroad. Oh my gosh. And they called my mom. And my mom, this was around the time my mom was getting married. So I had all this family in town, and they're calling my mom like, your daughter's in jail. Like, what are you going to do? And she's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I have all this family here, and I'm about to get married in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So luckily I got released, and with no problem, no bail or anything like that. And I got on the train. I went back home, and my mom, surprisingly, she wasn't hard on me.
She just went, everything was smooth. She
yeah,
was like, come here.
she wasn't hard on me like I thought she was gonna be.
Right.
And when I had to go to court, she was right there with me. So.
Well, I mean, you didn't really do nothing.
No, I didn't really do anything.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you was just like a victim of the circumstance.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever was going on in the club, that's what going on.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I found out eventually that in the club they were like the Russian girls. It was like a prostitution thing going on in there. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I found out eventually after a while, and then the club eventually got shut down. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's retract one more time. So, okay, all this went on up in New York. You got your feet wet.
Got my feet
you
wet.
in the game now.
I'm in the game.
You got locked up.
I got locked up.
Right before Mom's wedding.
Yes.
And now, what happens? Do you come back to Atlanta?
I stayed. I moved to Atlanta, and then I moved back to New York. I stayed in New York after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then from there, like, I pretty much was going from place to place, like, just trying to survive, staying with friends, and, all my friends, everyone that I associated myself with, they all danced, so we all moved together. So It was like, we all slept in each other's house, we all slept on each other's couch, and we hustled together, we made moves together, we did everything together.
Right.
So, from me living in Long Island, I moved from Long Island to Brooklyn. I got an apartment in Brooklyn. Yeah, my aunt, she helped me move in and everything. Okay. And, I just was hustling. Just hustling the whole time.
Hustling. Getting it. We don't ask too many questions. But, okay, so you basically was hustling. You in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn.
And at what point did you come back to Atlanta?
I didn't come back to Atlanta until recently, like last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so all this time
I'm in New York.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And now you back in Atlanta. So what made you come back to Atlanta?
What made me come back to Atlanta? Okay, so once I danced for 2 years in New York, and then I the life it was getting to me, like, mentally. I needed to take a break, and there were just a lot of things that I was dealing with at the time, and I just was like, you know what, I need to step back from this and, you know, try an alternative. So I went back to school. I got my GED, and I got into a relationship.
Okay.
Yes.
Growing up. Growing all up.
I glowed up. I got into a relationship with, you know, my son's father. You know, we were together for 8 years, and during that time, we traveled. You know, he showed me a different life. We, you know, had a lot of good experiences, and then we had a son 5 years later, and the relationship ended, and, you know, he's still a part of my life to this day, of course. He's a pain in my ass sometimes, but it's all good.
So he's in New York?
He's in New York,
okay.
Yes. He's in New York. And, you know, like I said, during that time, we did a lot of traveling together and different things. And, you know, he just wanted to show me that it was more to life than that. And he didn't want me to do it.
Right.
So I took a break. You know, I was like, you know what?
So he was a positive influence.
Yes, he was a positive influence.
Or he tried to be.
He tried to be.
Okay.
He did.
Okay.
He did. He
okay.
was. I give him that.
Okay. But in your heart of hearts, you knew what you
in my heart of hearts,
needed to do? I
knew what I wanted and needed to do. And, you know, we broke up, and I met someone else that I started dating. I met someone else, and he was, you know, street guy. He was in the streets, and he wasn't the best. He was, you know, mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive. You know, we moved to North Carolina, to Charlotte. That's where he had family. I visited with him a few times, and I was like, you know what? I was ready for a change. You know, New York, it was the same thing going on, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just ready for something new. So I packed up one day, and I moved. I moved to North Carolina.
Just
do my stuff in the car, and I'm out.
Okay. Well, man, it takes a lot just to up and move.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I had a great job at the time. I was a receptionist at Jaguar Land Rover. I had a great job, and I gave it all up and just said, I want a new life. So I took a chance.
Okay. Has it paid off?
It absolutely did pay off, because I ended up falling in love with Charlotte. And, you know, like I said, I was in a relationship with that guy. He was not the best, and that's what led me to go back to dancing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I fell on hard times once I got to Charlotte, and, you know, he was very abusive and controlling and all those things. So I'm just like...
Now, where did you meet this dude at?
He's from New York.
Okay.
Yeah, we know, you know, from around the way.
Okay,
you know.
Gotcha.
And, yeah, so... You know, we just going through different things at the time, and I just decided one day that I had enough. I had enough of the abuse. I had enough of the struggling. I was working regular jobs, just trying to make ends meet, and it wasn't enough. So, you know, I just say, you know what? I'm going back to the club.
So when you say physical abuse, what's the extent to physical abuse?
He was putting his hands on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He was just crazy. Alcoholic, like, just womanizer, user, all those things. He sold me a dream. He made it seem like he had this wonderful, beautiful life for me in North Carolina, and I was just so gung-ho on change that I believed it, and I'm just like, I'm gonna go. Let's do this. Like, and yeah, so eventually I'm glad that I was able to get away from him and, you know, survive that and stuff. And honestly, dancing, I feel like me getting back into the club is what saved my life.
Okay, so it kind of gave you somewhere to go.
Yeah, somewhere to go. Yes. Somewhere to go. Yeah. And, you know, money every day.
Right.
And, you know, and then once I got to Charlotte, it's just, I fell in love with Charlotte. And then from there, I just started making a lot of money.
So, okay, I like Charlotte. Because it's a cool little city. It's not too big, not too small. You know what I'm saying? It has a kind of mix of people.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
Know what I mean? It has its little niches.
Oh, yeah.
Here and there. So, that's cool. So, how long did you stay in Charlotte?
I lived in Charlotte for 2 years. Yes,
Okay.
I lived in Charlotte for 2 years. And when I started back dancing, I met some amazing, cool people. Charlotte is like a whole vibe. I just love the Southern hospitality. Like, it didn't take anything for me to adjust. I adjusted so quickly, and I fell in love with Charlotte. Okay. And yeah.
So yeah, just recently I've been like looking online on YouTube, and I've seen like T.I. was calling out 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And basically he wanted to challenge him. It was like 50 Cent's birthday, like the other day, right? And so he was like, hey, what's up, boss? It's your birthday. Yeah, then he challenged him, like his catalog. It was, I don't know what made it, you know, what made him do that. But what he was saying was, yeah, y'all New Yorkers come down here, you kick it, you know what I'm saying? But then once you know what I'm saying, you get to your other space, you talking down on us like we slow, we Southern, and like basically we ain't really up to where y'all at, you know what I'm saying? We ain't cut from the same cloth. So that's what he was talking about. And I know I'm from here, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've met a lot of people, a lot of New Yorkers. Yeah. And I've seen New Yorkers come down here and be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Yeah. So how do you feel? Because you told me you just adjusted easily to the Southern hospitality. But do you still carry your New York swag? Oh, yeah, absolutely. When I first moved to Charlotte, I was like, oh, my God, it's so slow. It's so quiet. Where are the people? I hear birds and crickets animals outside. Where am I? All I see is trees and whatnot. Like, and so yeah. But no, I the peace and quiet is something that I was looking for. I wanted that peace. I wanted that quiet. I wanted that serenity, and I found it there. Right. So you saying you a nature girl now? Yeah, I do. I be in the waterfalls, and I like going on the little hikes and being in the trees and stuff. Oh, the trees! You get in the trees? What, you be zip lining or something? Or you be climbing the trees? Well, growing up, because I had, in my house, it was me and my cousin, and he's a boy, so I used to be outside digging in the dirt and climbing trees and riding bikes, and I did all that stuff. That's good. That's real living. Yeah, I wasn't really like, I played with my Barbies and stuff, but I played outside too. Yeah, because like nowadays a lot of these kids not getting that. No, they don't. I mean? They don't. The house, and especially now with COVID and all this madness going on. So let's just like talk about that for a minute. Like, first of all, the club got shut down, right? So industry shut down. Okay, let's even back up. So you went from Charlotte. I went from Charlotte. I was there. I worked there for a good 2 years. I made hella money in Charlotte, and you know, met some really cool people there that I'm still cool with to this day. And Charlotte will always have a place in my heart. Like, if I would move back there but I like Atlanta more. But I like Atlanta more, but you know, if I had to choose, I would go back to Charlotte before I ever went back to New York, because I'm never going back to New York. Oh man, okay. Never. Okay. Yeah, I hear you, because I told you last time I was there, I was like, I couldn't believe how dirty it was. Yeah. And I had never really been out in New York like that, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's an eye-opener. And people talk about slow, but it's like you got fresh air. Right. Atlanta is trees everywhere. Yeah. We basically in a forest. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere you go is trees. It's green. And people like to work together a little bit more.
Right, that's true. They do.
What
More supportive.
Yeah.
But once I got to Charlotte, that's when I also got introduced to like traveling to other states to dance.
Okay.
So I would dance in Charlotte, of course. I would go to Columbia, South Carolina. I've danced in Miami.
I was just going to say Miami.
Yes, I've danced in Miami. That's one of my favorite places to dance. I've danced in Miami. I've danced in Texas.
Houston?
No, I danced in Austin, but I do want to go to Houston because I heard good things about Houston.
Oh, man.
I heard Houston's pretty live.
Houston is all the way lit.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty lit.
They right behind Atlanta, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. So, I even tried to work in LA, but they like plastic.
Yeah.
There. So my natural body wasn't good enough for LA, which is cool. But it was a nice little experience. I got to see what it was like. And yeah, so I started traveling, dancing and traveling from Charlotte. And then, the same friend that was my high school friend that I started dancing with, she ended up moving to Georgia, and she's like, hey girl, I'm in Georgia, I need you, you're my friend, let's link up. So I moved in with her, and we started making money again.
Back at
it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you've been doing a lot though. You've been busy recently, right?
Yes.
Now you were not busy when COVID hit. So tell us about that. Tell us how that affected the whole game. Because basically everything shut down and nobody was thinking about wanting to go to a strip club.
No.
Right?
Not at all.
So,
I was crushed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Because, I had a business that I started, a vegan cosmetics line, Connie Cosmetics. And, I was...
Drop a tag so we can follow that.
At Connie Cosmetics on IG.
Okay.
So I started that, and I was pretty much working a 9 to 5, putting my money into that, and I did all the funding. I did my website. I did all my advertising. I did all my marketing. I did all my products. I even made some of the products by hand. And it just got a little overwhelming because, I was still a mom at the time. I still had other obligations. And, shout out to Urban Magazine, too, because they featured me a bunch of times for my brand. So, I was able to get my brand out there with them. I have a very close relationship with them. Shout out to them. And, so I had to, life happened again, and I had to put that on a back burner because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford that, and to take care of myself at the time. So yeah.
Okay, so did the whole COVID experience kind of make you think about other things, or just how did it change the way you think about things?
The COVID thing really had me scared at first because I'm like, wow, what? This is my bread and butter. Like, what am I going to do?
Right.
So what I did was I started researching like work from home jobs and different things that I could get into. And I came across being a phone sex operator.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
I came across being a phone sex operator.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. That's a bomb.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Yes. I was a phone sex operator.
So you was actually on the phone talking to dudes. So dudes would call.
Yes.
And to hear you tell them, just phone sex.
Right. Oh my gosh. It was like funny at first. It was hilarious because I'm just like, yo, there's some really perverted ass people in this world. I didn't realize it until I became a phone sex operator.
But you had to be one of them. Wait a minute.
You have to have a real imagination, and you gotta know how to pretend and actress.
Right.
Be an actress.
Right. This is hilarious. Cause I saw some movie on Netflix. It was about like these girl, or it was an older sister. She was a phone sex operator, but she was living in an apartment with her younger sister or brother, and they would, their mom had died, and so her younger sister basically needed to make money.
Yeah.
So she was like, well, you need to do what I do. Mm-hmm. And she ended up doing like a video porn or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so tell us about that.
Yes. So I Googled phone sex operators because I saw an ad on Instagram. Okay. And the ad was like, make like up to $1,400 a week being a phone sex operator. So I'm like, hey, that's even better. I don't have to touch anybody. I don't have to be in anybody's face. I don't have to interact with anyone. I just get on the phone and from the comfort of my home and do my thing. So I started doing that, and I did it for, I would say about, I gave it like 3 weeks, and I couldn't do it anymore because it was just like too much perversion, and I was like talking about sex every day, all day for hours, and you literally have to make a profit, you literally have to be on the phone for like 10 hours a day. Yeah.
Man. So
10 hours.
So how many dudes can you talk to in 10 hours? Like how long was the conversation?
I mean, I would say my longest conversation that I probably had with somebody was about 45 minutes. 45 minutes? Yes.
And so... I'm sorry.
And during the 45 minutes, it's a lot of, hey, baby, I like, do you like that? Talk to me dirty. It was a lot of that.
I don't know. For me, if it's not real, it's like, how, where do I fix my mind to make believe that this is real? I don't know. That's strange as hell.
Yeah, it was really strange because the way that the line was set up was we had to play different roles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it would beep in and say, Granny, or like
Granny.
Yeah, like you gotta pretend like you're an old lady, or you gotta pretend like that's your dad or something. Like it was weird. It was so weird, and it creeped me out after a while. I was like, I can't do this anymore, so I quit.
So was most of the guys like black guys, white guys?
It was both. But mostly white men, older white men that were like in West Bubblefuck country town somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they was really getting off to this?
They were getting off.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet you was just...
I was cracking the fuck up. I couldn't believe it, some of the stuff I was hearing on that phone.
Oh, man. So that means you definitely know how to talk dirty, right?
Yeah, I know how to talk dirty.
Man, I mean, real experience.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a whole nother aspect
of
the industry.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother animal right
You have to have, man, I don't know. I just couldn't sit and talk about sex all day. I really couldn't do it. It just grossed me out.
Yeah, and it just be on your mind like all the time. Like, you would probably be just spazzing out, just saying shit.
Oh my goodness, it was just like crazy. And then the stuff that they would say is just beyond me. It wasn't even like, it was just straight up nasty.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to just leave that.
Yeah, we're going to leave that right there. We're going to leave that right there.
Let's leave that there. We'll let the imagination.
Yes, just use your imagination.
Can venture into that one.
Yes.
Okay, so you doing the sex calls. 3 weeks and you was tapped out.
Yeah, I was tapped out.
And now you're back dancing again.
No, the clubs were still closed.
Okay, the club's still closed.
Still closed.
Okay.
The clubs were still closed. So a former friend of mine introduced me to the CBDT industry. And I started selling the CBDT until their CEO came out and said all lives matter, when most of the people that sell for them are African American. So I'm like, I can't support a company that doesn't support my people.
Got you. So you threw them the deuces.
Yeah, I threw them the deuces.
You high-heeled up out of there.
I high-heeled up out of there.
Okay. Well, our segment is coming to a close. I hate to have to pull the drapes down on this because it's some more things I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
But hopefully, maybe you could be a staple. Who knows? Because you're going to be a pioneer. You know what I mean? And I'm proud of all the things that you're doing.
Thank you.
Outside of dance and
Yes.
just your resilience.
Thank you.
And coming through this path to be here to tell
my story.
Yeah. You give us some good
Because,
stuff.
you know, a lot of people that I came up with, unfortunately, they're not alive anymore. They're not here. They're not able to, you know, speak on the experiences that they went through. And I'm just very fortunate that through all my struggles throughout my life, that I'm still here to be able to speak about it. And I hope that I can, you know, be of some type of support, or I can influence, or, you know, someone could take something from my story and just do what you gotta do.
Okay, well, we're going to dive in for real next time.
Yes.
We would love to have you back again.
Yes, I would love to come back.
All right, well, give us a quick shout out to anybody out there that you want to shout out. Tell us how we can follow you.
Yes.
Where we can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Connie Zee, CONNIEZEE__. And also, I'm a dancer. You can find me at Pinups Indicator.
Where's Greater?
Where's Greater?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, and
also YouTube, Vivo, WorldStar, music videos I've done. You can find me there too. Thank you, DDCTV, Digital Dance Culture in this bitch. And we out.
boom,
Bow!
bow.
Bow, bow, bow.